Hello students, in this video I will discuss the chapter number 16, that is environmental issues. Ever increasing population size, there is increase in demand for food, water, home, electricity, roads, automobiles and numerous other commodities. These demands are exerting tremendous pressure on our natural resources and are also contributing to pollution of air, water and soil. The need of the hour is to check the degradation and depletion of our precious natural resources and pollution without halting the processes of development. Now, let me explain pollution. What is pollution? Pollution is any undesirable change in physical, chemical, or biological characteristics of air, land, water, or soil. The agents that bring about such an undesirable change are called pollutants. In order to control the environmental pollution, the government of India has passed the Environment Act, that is the Environment Protection Act, during 1986 to protect and improve the quality of our environment, that is air, water and soil. Let me explain one by one. The first one is the air pollution. So what is air pollution? Air is a mixture of gases. Air is a mixture of gases. So undesirable change in the atmospheric air due to human intervention which makes air unfit for human use and for survival of flora and fauna. Flora means plants, fauna means animals, is called air pollution. So the agent, that is any substance that can alter physical and chemical characteristics of air are called air pollutants. So the air pollutants cause injury to all living organisms. Both plants and animals, they cause injury. They reduce growth and yield of crops and cause premature death of plants. And like that, it also causes animals. Means they deleteriously affect the respiratory system of humans and of animals. Harmful effects depend on the concentration of pollutants, duration of exposure, and the organism. Next is the sources of air pollutants. So, smoke stacks of thermal power plants, smelters, and other industries release particulate and gaseous air pollutants together with the harmless gases. The harmless gases are nitrogen and oxygen, etc. Automobiles are the major cause for atmospheric pollution, at least in metro cities. These pollutants, which are released by automobiles, smokes, tackles, thermal power thermal power plants, and smelters, must be separated or filtered out before releasing the harmless gases into the atmosphere. Otherwise, it leads to pollution. There are different ways of removing particulate matter. The most widely used of removing particulate matter is a electrostatic precipitator. it can remove over 99% of particulate matter present in the exhaust from the thermal power plant. It has electrode wire that are maintained at several thousand volts, which produce a corona, that is color, that releases electrons. These electrons attach to dust particles, giving them a net negative charge. The collecting plates are grounded and attract the charged dust particles. The velocity of air between the plates must be low enough to allow the dust to fall. So next one is a scrubber method. That is a scrubber. Scrubber can remove gaseous air, gases like a sulfur oxide. In a scrubber, the exhaust is passed through the spray of water or lime. Recently, we have realized the dangers of particulate matter that are very small and are not removed by these precipitators. According to Central Pollution Control Board, that is CPCB, particulate matter size about 2.5 micrometer or less than diameter, that is PM 2.5, are responsible for causing the greatest harm to human health. These fine particulates can be inhaled deep into the lungs and can cause breathing and respiratory symptoms, irritation, inflammations, and damage to the lungs and premature deaths. Okay, so here is the diagram showing a scrubber and an electrostatic precipitator method to remove particulate matter. There are different ways of removing particulate matter. Next is the catalytic converter. So in a metro cities, there is more automobiles. The proper maintenance of automobiles along with use of lead-free petrol or diesel can reduce the pollutants they emit. Catalytic converter having an expensive metal, namely platinum, palladium, and rhodium as a catalyst, and are fitted into automobiles for reducing emission of poisonous gases. As the exhaust passed through the catalytic converter, unburned hydrocarbons are converted into carbon dioxide and water, and carbon monoxide and nitric oxide are changed into carbon dioxide and nitrogen gas, respectively. Motor vehicles equipped with catalytic converter should use unleaded petrol because lead in the petrol inactivates the catalyst. Okay, so in India, the Air Act came into force in 1981 but was amended in 1987 to include noise as a air pollutant or a air pollution. So noise is undesired high level of sound. So as I told you that in India, the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act came into force in 1981, but was amended in 1987 to include noise as an air pollutant. So, effects of a noise pollution. What are the effects? Mainly, noise pollution causes physiological and psychological disorders in humans. The brief exposure to high level of sound, that is about 150 decibel or more than that, generated by takeoff of a jet plane or rocket may damage eardrums, thus permanently impairing hearing ability. Even chronic exposure to a relatively lower noise level of our cities may permanently damage hearing abilities of humans. The main effects of a noise: it causes sleeplessness, increased heartbeat, altered breathing pattern, thus considerably stressing humans. How to control noise pollution? Reduction of noise in our industries can be affected by use of sound absorbent materials or by muffling noise. Stringent following of a laws laid down in a relation to noise, like a delimitation of a horn-free zones around hospitals and schools, permissible sound levels of crackers and of loudspeakers, timings after which loudspeakers cannot be played, etc., need to be enforced to protect ourselves from noise pollution. Now, for example, the case study of Delhi. With its very large population of vehicular traffic, Delhi leads the country in its level of air pollution. It has more cars than a state of Gujarat and West Bengal put together. In the 1990s, Delhi ranked 4th among the 41 most polluted cities of the world. Air pollution problem in Delhi became so serious that a public interest litigation, that is a PIL, was filed in the Supreme Court of India. After being censored very strongly by the Supreme Court, under its directives, the government was asked to take within a specified time period appropriate measures, including switching over the entire fleet of public transport, that is buses, from diesel to compressed natural gas, that is CNG, diesel to CNG. All the buses of Delhi were converted to run on CNG by the end of 2002. Simultaneously, parallel steps taken in Delhi for reducing vehicular pollution, including phasing out of old vehicles, use of unleaded petrol, uses of low sulfur petrol or diesel, use of catalytic converters in vehicles, application of a stringent pollution level norms for vehicles, etc. Why CNG is better than diesel? CNG is better than diesel because it burns most efficiently, unlike petrol or diesel. In the automobiles, and very little of it's unburned, left unburned. Moreover, CNG is cheaper than petrol or diesel, and it is cannot siphoned off by thieves and adulterated like a petrol or diesel. The main problem of with the switching over to CNG is difficulty of laying down pipelines to deliver CNG through distribution points or pumps and ensuring uninterrupted supply. So these are the that's why the CNG is better than diesel. So next is how to control air pollution. That is measures taken by Government of India to control air pollution. The Government of India, through a new auto fuel policy, has laid out a roadmap to cut down vehicular pollution in Indian cities. More stringent norms for fuels means steadily reducing the sulfur and aromatic content in petrol and diesel fuels. Euro 3 norms, for example, stipulate that sulfur be controlled at 350 parts per million in a diesel and 150 parts per million in a petrol. Aromatic hydrocarbons are to be contained at a 42% of the concerned fuel. The goal, according to the roadmap, is to reduce sulfur to 50 part per million in petrol and diesel and bring down the level to 35%. Corresponding the fuel vehicle engines will also need to be upgraded. Mass emission standard, that is Bharat Stage 2, which is equivalent to Euro 2 norms, are no more applicable in any of the cities of India. These are the table showing the mass emission standards in India. The Bharat Stage 2, as I told you, equivalent to Euro 2 norms, which is currently in place in Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Pune, Surat, Kanpur and Agra, will be applicable to all automobiles throughout the country from 1st April 2005. All automobiles and fuel, petrol and diesel were to have met the Euro 3 emission specifications in these 11 cities from 1st April 2005 and have to meet the Euro 4 norms by 1st April 2010. The rest of the country will have Euro 3 emission norms compliant automobiles and fuels by 2010. Recently, Euro norm 6 is introduced. Okay, students, in this video, we discussed about air pollution, causes, effects, and control measures, and remaining topics will be discussed in a next video. Thank you.